Welcome everybody to Forza 5, and today we are dealing with the 2021 Cupra Formentor VZ5 in A-Class online racing, street racing again like we did with the Cupra Tavascan concept car. And yeah, this has only had minor upgrades, it's not had anything major. For instance, it's only got 10 extra horsepower and 9 extra pounds-feet of torque, up to now 395 horsepower and 363 pounds-feet of torque, but that's still pretty good when you consider this is now lighter, it's got better tyres, it's got better brakes, and yeah, generally it's just had a minor amount of overhauls in certain areas, but I feel like it's all come together to make a really well sorted SUV. Not going to say it's competitive by any means, probably slightly less so than the Tavascan, because obviously it's not got the immediacy of that car, it's electric power, and obviously it has less power and less torque in general as well, but it is lighter, it is better handling, and yeah, definitely better off the line as well. I think the brakes are about the same, and yeah, even though the stat for handling is higher, I wouldn't say it's massively different. It's probably a little bit more nimble just because of how little it weighs in comparison, but yeah, it's not, you know, worlds apart. But yeah, even though it's only got a little bit of extra horsepower and torque because it weighs so little in comparison to its stock form, that extra power and torque is able to put to good use. It's not being wasted as much, nor is the original amount of power either. Yeah, we'll look at the stats of this thing once we get into the next lobby. Next 3 races. Concentrating at the moment, so I do apologise for me not talking much, but yeah, as you can see, it is competitive enough to a certain extent, but there are obviously cars that are going to be quicker than this, especially given A-classes. There's plenty of, you know, supercars of all kinds of varieties on offer, old and new. Nissan here are a little bit on the even side. Oh, just got him because he hit the barrier of the bridge. Yeah. So yeah, it's a quick enough car, and it's a fun car to drive as well, although it does on occasion feel like it's going to fall over, because the suspension hasn't been upgraded, because I didn't feel like the upgrades were worth it, or the PI used was worth it. So yeah, the handling is a little bit iffy on the limit, but yeah, it's on the whole really well done. And yeah, it's, like I said, not the most competitive, but as you can see, out of 3 races I've come 6th overall, which is fine enough for me. It's about the middle ground as far as I'm concerned, so it's good in that regard. So yeah, like I said, this weighs a lot less than the original car. It now weighs 3,172 pounds, which is 373 pounds less than what it weighed originally. So even though, like I said, it only has 10 extra horsepower and 9 extra pounds-feet of torque, you know, that means it's not only able to use its original power output really well now, but also the additional amount of power that we've given it as well. So yeah, and as you'd expect, that's decreased the acceleration times by a substantial amount, but it's not done a whole lot great in terms of its top speed. It's only 2 miles an hour quicker at the top end now at 178 miles an hour. So yeah, not brilliant in that regard, but still, you rarely ever go getting up to that kind of speed anyway. and therefore top speed is less relevant. Which is why when it came to the Tavascan, I didn't really put the top speed any higher than it was, because obviously I could change the gearing even more and get it probably up to 200 mile an hour, maybe even more, but that would have increased the acceleration times and kind of sapped it of its, you know, immediacy that you get from an electric car. So yeah, hopefully this lobby will load up soon. Speak of the devil. But yeah, let's look at the stats before we hit the road in the next few races. So yeah, there we go. 6.4 speed, which isn't the best by any means, but the 5.9 handling, 8.8 acceleration, 9.9 launch, 6.9 braking are all really rather good. Off-road capabilities on the low side, but obviously we're on street racing, so that doesn't really matter, although, you know, it's modicum amount of off-road capability will help it when going off the grass by accident or anything like that. But yeah, it's definitely the handling, acceleration, launch and braking that are the best points of this car. And yeah, they're the raw numbers there. So let's see if we can do any better in these 3 races. And yeah, hopefully we won't have any issues with the suspension not being able to take the extra acceleration and speed that we're putting in this car, because yeah, I have raced it before and it has felt like it's going to lean a little bit. It does feel like we're pushing its original suspension to the edge. I really wouldn't recommend putting any more power in this without upgrading the suspension, but like I said, I was stuck for PI, needed to cut back on something, and the suspension, although can be problematic, it's nowhere near as problematic as it would be if, you know, in other regards, if we, you know, didn't have the lack of weight that we have in this, or the extra power or anything like that. So yeah, overall I feel like I've done a good enough compromise, but as per usual, you could do this car in several numerous ways, and you might well get it better, you might get it worse. I feel like I've got it in a good way. Its back left wheel a bit there. Thank you, Aston Martin, for clearing that barrier for me. Slow right now, unfortunately. Oh dear. Not thank you, Aston Martin, for shoving the truck in my way. Well, I didn't mean to use that exploit, but if you're going to be slow into a corner and in a car where you don't really have to brake, then that's your problem. Yeah, the front end lifted up a bit there as well. Definitely seems to behave like a hot hatchback in a lot of ways, but then this does come across as that in its standard form anyway. Oh dear. Yeah, you can see it's lifting up at times. But I am surprised that, you know, an Aston Martin V12 Vantage of all things isn't able to beat this, because even that in stock form should be faster than we are. That has well over 500 horsepower in stock form. But it does eventually beat us, purely because it is a supercar at the end of the day and we are an SUV with less than 400 horsepower. So yeah, but that's no surprise. So yeah, but still, decent enough position, although obviously it's only second to last because the other driver didn't really seem to be racing. But yeah, still, I think we put up a good showing for the first half of that, and yeah, should give us a decent amount of points to start with as well. as you can see, we weren't a million miles off that Aston Martin. So yeah, we're starting off with 10 points. So yeah, acceleration now 0 to 60 in 3.863 seconds. 0 to 100 in 8.517 seconds. Like I said, it can do 178 mile an hour at the top end, which yeah, that's about 0.7 of a second near enough quicker to 60 than the stock form, and just under 1.3 seconds quicker to 100. So definitely a sizable margin in terms of its acceleration. Just a shame that because of the gearing and the fact that it's not got as much or that much extra power, its top speed isn't as good. But still, yeah, it's definitely a car that I really rather enjoy. And like I said in my review of this car, it is a vehicle I've wanted in a game for a while, ever since I heard about it, quite frankly. So yeah, I'm glad it's in the game. A little bit of a shame that you can't fully view the car, but that's just a me personal level, to be honest. I prefer to be able to view cars as much as possible in these games, and yeah, not being able to see that engine, which is really rather unique for a SUV, was a little bit of a shame. But we've seen it before anyway, you know, because it is the same engine as what's in the Audi TT, which we've already reviewed, and that was also a great car with that engine packing 400 horsepower. So yeah, this nearly has as much power as that, but I imagine it was slightly reduced just because of the kind of car that it is. And hell, maybe even Cupra realised that putting 400 horsepower in this would be a little bit of an issue, because yeah, it's certainly got some issues with the suspension being in stock form, the form that I have it in at the moment. Beetle, god damn it. Herbie bugger. And there's the people cheating because they can't take these courses in their spirit. They have to, you know, try and win at all costs, even if it means looking like an idiot. Worked for that Jaguar though, because they must have gone through some debris that they couldn't really punch through all that well. Maybe did that work out for you either, matey? Yeah, that Jaguar is a great car and all, but unless you've upgraded the gearbox, then it's not particularly brilliant, because it's not got the best launch off the line. Because it is at the end of the day a racing car. It was never meant for road use, so you know, who cares about how you get off the line if you're never going to be at the lights or anything like that. That's why I believe some racing cars don't even have a starter motor. Might be wrong in that, but it would seem that that's something that you wouldn't necessarily need in a racing car. Oh, balls. Got that just ever too close. Right to the end of the ball. Oh well. Wasn't that slight turn into the corner, we would have obviously gotten yeah, second. But still, 4th place is higher than last time, so I can't complain too much. And yeah, puts us ahead of the Vantage and on level with the Toyota. Seems that Vantage had a bad race in that event there. So let's move on to the 3rd and final race. So yeah, other upgrades that I've given this car, it now has semi-slick tyres that are thicker at the front and rear. It's also got race brakes, a race clutch, race anti-roll bars front and rear, and a race driveline. Which, yeah, those race brakes, clutch, anti-roll bars and driveline also help contribute towards how light this car is. But also the fact that it's now got sport weight reduction as well also helps. As well as the fact it's got street chassis bracing as well. Which could probably be a combination that is making this as unstable at times. Because you think about it, it's stiffer, it's got way more grip, it's lighter, and you know the suspension is still the same. So you could say it's kind of like a stiffer chassis combining with the semi-slick tyres is making this do a grip roll, or trying to grip roll. But yeah, it felt like it needed a stiffer chassis purely because, you know, to combat the lack of increasing suspension and the fact it's not got, you know, completely slick tyres or anything like that. So, but on the whole, I do find this enjoyable to drive. Yeah, it is competitive in its own way. Not overly competitive. It's not, you know, it's not going to be a constant winner like some cars are in this game. But it's a car that I enjoy driving, and therefore, no matter what place I'm going to come, I'm going to enjoy the end result regardless, as long as it's gotten to in a fair and non-cheating manner. So yeah, let's see if this is ever going to load up. I should say setting up event anytime soon. Yeah, there we go. Just has to actually set up the event. Yeah, the loading times on this can be a little bit iffy, which is a bit of a shame. But it's because of the way the lobbies work, where you can have people enter the lobby part way through. You know, they don't have to be in it from the first or even the second race. They can come in the third and final race, so it has to load them in at the same time as everyone else. So it can get a little bit slow in connecting everyone together, but got there eventually. So let's see what happens. Such a great launch on this. Few instances where we're getting towards the top speed of this car. It's still just about keeping up, despite that. Certainly a little bit quicker at the top end than the Tavascan would be, because that comes out about 173. Being a more modern car, well, a modern car with a petrol engine, its gearbox is not the best. Top end speed at least. Corner always catches me out, just like it's a couple of others. Oh, the Mercedes missed the checkpoint there. Oh, how that feels. Check it was gone off. Helping me around the corner. Just screw yourself over in the process. Gonna get 5th. Right in line with the previous 2 races, to be fair. Well, that's fine. So yeah, there's the Formentor in A-Class. I enjoy driving it. I know it's not the most competitive vehicle going, but it puts up a fight, and it's a real fun car to drive. And it's a bit unusual in terms of other SUVs, because it's a far lighter car than other SUVs. Got that really nice 5-cylinder engine from Audi, and yeah, it's got great launch and really rather solid handling. So yeah, can't really complain. But yeah, 5th overall there, joint with the Jaguar XJ13. So yeah, but at least we beat the Vantage, which was in the previous races that we were in. So yeah, there we go. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.